What's up, folks on YouTube? I'm gonna fire up the Facebook real quick. What's going on, Facebook? We got YouTube and Facebook today. I got my new Corona visor. I'm taking this very seriously, so I want to block the droplets. I'm going to talk today about two stories that were really important to me or interesting. The first one was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on her opinions on why she thinks crime is rising in New York City. We're going to play the clip, listen to it, and then analyze it. And the second one I want to talk about is Ted Cruz. He got caught not wearing a mask on a plane, so I want to break down that story. And most importantly, I had a lot of complaints. The bandana wasn't covering enough. The mask wasn't covering enough, so I decided to get a sound activated, completely blocked. No sneezes. This way, when I go to the supermarket, I'm gonna start shaming people. Like everybody walking around, I'm gonna be like, "You're disgusting. You're just wearing a mask? That's disgusting. You're gonna the droplets are gonna slide out the right side, especially the right wing." I did a whole parody with this on. It's on my YouTube channel. I couldn't put it on Facebook because I played a song. Yeah, it's a Corona visor. You see what I'm saying? Yes, sir. So. Hold on. It's very cool. Whew. Gets a little hot in there, though. You got to make sure you breathe. But just letting y'all know I'm prepared. Next time I go to the supermarket, I'm going to rock that, baby. Have a good time. What's up, Emily? And I got the trifecta here. I got some apple juice. Hold up. The coffee. And the ice cold double filtered water to bring it on home. Let's go. Probably didn't need to do all those in a row, but what's up, Paris? Andrea, what's going on? What did you miss? Just my new helmet with the NASA logo. You know, I'm a big government guy. You know what would stop crime? NASA needs more money. We need to give NASA trillions of dollars, and then crime will go down. Because you know, they're doing some really important work up there. You can't see it, but every day they're saving lives. Yes, sir. No droplets, no sneezes. Why aren't you wearing your helmet? Why are you not wearing a helmet? Dr. Fauci said to block the droplets. But you can see my whole parody. I don't want to repeat myself. I got a whole one on my YouTube channel, my BitChute channel. I got a whole parody, like 12 minutes of that. So it's a good time. I enjoy it. I'm biased. I did it, but I think it's pretty fun. Someone said take a video when you go to the market. Maybe. All right, let's do some shout outs for a minute and then let's get into it. Let's see who we got on Facebook. I'm loyal. We got Delania. We got Hope. Who we got on YouTube? We got Star Spangled Bear, Stephanie Gunslinger, Tracy, Dharma, Russell. We got Tyson said, I want that helmet. I know I better demand sales from these people. Everybody's like, I want that. I'm like, promo code anomaly. I need 50% off or something, but it's okay. All right, let's start it up. Thank you guys for being here. We got 245 on YouTube and growing. We got about 2,900 on Facebook and growing. I'm going to start with the Ted Cruz story because it's pretty easy and straightforward. I don't want to spend that much time on it, but there's a big viral story going on Twitter, and I'm sure it's on Facebook too. I just haven't really checked. That Ted Cruz was not wearing a mask on a plane. Thank you, Blue Scorpio. I appreciate you. Ted Cruz wasn't wearing a mask, and they're trying to get him in trouble with American Airlines. If you look at the picture, though, it's Ted Cruz holding a coffee on a plane, and he doesn't have his mask on. Hold on. I just want to sip of that. And if you've been on a plane in the last couple of months, you're allowed to take the mask off to drink coffee or water or soda, whatever you want to drink or eat. They still have food and drinks on airplanes. You're supposed to take it off to eat. You can't drink with a mask on. So the picture of Ted Cruz that they're all dragging him through the mud for, he was drinking a coffee or holding a coffee. And now they're trying to say, well, he wasn't doing it here. There's pictures of him with masks on. There's pictures of him without masks on. But it's like, at what point are these people going to let you breathe and eat? I just wanted to break that real quick. It's not this huge story I have to talk about for a lot, but you're going to see a picture of him without a mask holding a coffee. He's drinking a coffee, and everyone on the plane does that. And to be quite honest, when I was on the plane, I did it for as long as I possibly could because I wanted to breathe. So, I bought something, a drink or food, and I ate it, and then I slowly ate it so I could breathe for like 10, 20 minutes. And in general, you'll have to talk to one of the experts, but if you're on a plane and you're worried about breath, everyone's breathing, everyone's taking their mask off to eat. You're not going to be able to stop the flow of air. There's HEPA filters on it, so you'll be fine. But in general, it's like the Karen, crowd on the left is coming out and just like trying to drag him through the mud for drinking a coffee on an airplane and like taking it off temporarily in the airport itself. When I was in there, I was inspired by this one guy. He was like a Hasidic Jewish guy. He had his nose coming out the mask, and he was like demanding like a cheaper water than he was buying or something. Him and his wife were like, how much are these waters? Point I'm getting to is he inspired me because he put the mask down here and was breathing. I was like, I like this guy. So then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pull that move too. I'm not suggesting it. I'm just saying I like that move personally. I put my nose out the top and I just breathe because like sometimes you got to breathe. So it's like I got the mask on, but technically I'm still breathing. I was inspired by a Hasidic Jewish couple who was doing that in the airport. God bless you guys. I was like, you know what? That's inspiring. I'm gonna move that move. So maybe that was one of Ted's moves. He pulled it down. He drank the coffee. He took a break for 10 minutes. I don't know. I just think people should calm down a little bit. You're not gonna. Unfortunately, millions of people have already had coronavirus. I'm not saying it's not serious, but I'm making a whole video about it today. I know I've been slacking. It's gonna come out tomorrow morning. How are you gonna stop the spread? I'm just asking questions. Millions of people have it. Millions of people probably had it and didn't even know. Millions. How are you going to stop the spread? How are you going to slow the spread? How long are you going to slow the spread for? The flu, the common cold coronavirus, they've been around for the last century. They're not getting slowed. They're not getting stopped. How long are you going to do it? What are you waiting for? What is it? The hospitalizations? Is it death count? It's not the death count. It's the cases count. Why would the cases count go down? Is it just going to disappear? Maybe, but probably not. And if it doesn't disappear, that's not abnormal. What flu virus or coronavirus, which ones have disappeared? Which ones haven't? Where's it going to go? If you test this aggressively for any virus, they've never tested this aggressively, you're going to find more cases. And that's what you're basing the shutdown off of? Well, what do you need to do? Stop the spread? Not possible. Slow the spread? Not possible. It's not like it just got here yesterday. It's been here for God knows how long. Millions of people have it. So where are we going with this? I get the idea. That's why I bought this mask. You want me to wear a bandana and dress like a bandit when I go into a bank? I'm gonna dress like a spaceman because Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong. Listen. 4, 3, 2. Is this gonna get me in trouble at the supermarket? They're gonna think it's a bomb or something. It's like 5, 4, 3, 2. They're like, oh my God! I'm like. So at a certain point, I'm going to protect myself from the droplets, but I got to have fun with this because it's never going to end based on how they're counting. Thank you, Renee. Second story is a more interesting one. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I don't like to talk about her a lot. I feel like a lot of the right wing just focuses. They blame like everything on Ilhan Omar. It's just not true. Like they're like, when America went downhill, and I'm like, they're like, when Ilhan Omar went into office, and I'm like, that's not true. Like obviously she's kind of annoying and I don't agree with their policies, but she's not the start of American corruption. Like blaming AOC or Ilhan Omar for everything, it's not accurate. They're not the beginning of it. They're the end stage. That's what happens when you have Dianne Feinstein's, driving with Chinese spies and, accumulating mass amounts of wealth off of a small salary, Nancy Pelosi, Mitt Romney, John McCain. That's how you get Ilhan Omar and AOC. It's not their fault. But they're like the final stage of like where it's all going. So, they're like AOC is what, and it's like even Obama, they're like Obama was the most corrupt. He maybe was, but at the same time, it's like it didn't start with Obama, but whatever. I'm not trying to back these people up. I'm just saying, I just think it's funny when everyone blames everything on Ilhan Omar and AOC. I don't buy into it, but they are really annoying. I understand why people don't like them. So the point I'm trying to get to is I don't spend that much time on them because of that reason, but I'm going to listen. We'll listen for a couple minutes of why AOC thinks that there's a crime uptick in the city. New York City has a huge crime uptick. Unfortunately, over the weekend, a 1-year-old was shot dead in Bed-Stuy, where I used to hang out and stay. at a cookout. A lot of stuff like this is happening, like random murders that have nothing to do with, and I understand what she's trying to say, but like a lot of these murders are totally senseless. They have nothing to do with looting or stealing. Like that happens, looting happens, robbery happens, but most of these murders have nothing to do with people trying to get food or anything. It's just like senseless, aimless crime. And there's a lot of reasons for it that we may have overlap on, but her reasoning is just bizarre. We're going to listen to her talk for a little bit, and then I'll tell you what I think. And if you're a progressive or a liberal, please hear me out, because I'm not coming from a mean place. But in my opinion, if you don't get to the core of this stuff, it's never going to change. And people like AOC, I don't think she's from Bed-Stuy. I'm not going to accuse people of this or that, but it seems like a lot of these people, and I'll tell a personal story before I play it, they don't have to deal with the consequences of what they do. For example, I used to live in Los Angeles for 7 or 8 years. When I lived in Los Angeles, every couple, times a year, they would do some big show at the Dolby Theater, at this theater. They always had a big celebrity, the Emmys, the Grammys, whatever. I don't even know. I wasn't paying attention. But they would shut down the whole street. When the celebrities are in town, they shut the whole street down. So you can't go anywhere. You're not allowed to walk. They build walls. They build these huge walls or fences, sometimes both, where you can't even see through. Sometimes they're fences, sometimes they're straight up walls where you can't even see them performing. They take over my street and they do a big concert, but they block all the citizens out. It's the most privileged thing you can imagine. It's like Justin Timberlake performing on Hollywood Boulevard, but you can't see it. They literally block all the people who live there, mostly lower middle income people, because those streets are not where the celebrities, they don't live in Hollywood, they live in the hills. I've seen it happen for the Emmys or the Grammys, whatever. They shut all the streets down, they build walls, and they have dozens of police cars, dozens of police officers, probably hundreds, helicopters. They're the most spoiled, privileged brats. Why don't they go to Hollywood Boulevard with no police officers and no walls? Do you know why they don't go? Because it's not safe to go. There's homeless, there's trash, there's people who would probably rob them. It's not a safe move to do that without all the security, so they don't do it. The point I'm trying to get to before I play this, you might think, well, Bernie and AOC and what these people say are so nice, the celebrities bailing you out of jail. They don't live on the block. She doesn't live in Bed-Stuy. They don't live in Los Angeles. I'm not even talking about South Central. They don't even live in the middle income areas where they go and do their shows at. Like, they go to Hollywood to do an award show every other month. They don't live there. They don't stay there. And every time they go, they're escorted by hundreds of police officers and walls, and they stop you from like walking within like 10 blocks. I would literally used to have to walk around like 10 blocks just to get to where I was going, because they blocked everything down. So the point I'm getting to is, when she says defund the police or disband the police, and they all say this stuff, do they have security guards? Do they like police officers? Of course, most of them do. They wouldn't feel safe without it. So it's rules for you. If you're a 1-year-old in Bed-Stuy, you don't get the police. If you're, in the inner city, or you're in the middle income or suburb area, wherever they're trying to target, you don't get it, but they get it themselves. They're the biggest hypocrites. They would not walk around without police. They will not go to these events without border security, but they don't want lower and middle income. So they act like they're for the poor. Most of them have never lived there, and they don't know the consequences, like little kids getting murdered on the daily, and they have nothing, and I repeat, nothing to do with people needing bread or food. Some of them, obviously, there's poverty reasons for it. I'm going to get into that, but it's not like they're like, oh, I'm killing this 1-year-old because I need food to eat. That's not the dynamic that's happening. It's disgusting. But let me play her clip, and then I'm going to get into the real reasons that she and a lot of other people just don't seem to want to acknowledge. But not acknowledging it is not nice. It's not kind. It's not compassionate. Foolishness is not kindness. Weakness is not kindness. Weakness and foolishness leads to bad stuff. It leads to lies. It leads to destruction. It's not nice. That's what political correctness is. Like my friend George Carlin said, it's fascism with manners. They're pretending to be nice, but they're really fascist. You can't say that. Your freedom of speech is gone. Your right to bear arms is gone. The McClaskeys can't defend themselves in St. Louis. Everything they're doing is wicked, but they just have a big smile on their face. Just like my boy Malcolm X said as well. He said they're the most wicked people in the Western Hemisphere, the most dangerous people, because they smile like they're your friend, but they're trying to eat you with their teeth. That's a rough quote, but you could look up the video yourself. Here's AOC, falsely analyzing what's happening in New York City, and then we'll talk about the real story.
I think there's something about this uptick in crime. Let me make something super clear for everyone here having this question.
Make it clear for me.
The New York City Police Department has not been defunded. Even with these budgetary changes that were proposed in City Council, A, they're not fully enacted. B, they aren't a real $1 billion in cuts. And C, it's not really, like these cuts aren't really real. And again, they haven't even happened yet.
All right, before we get into the rest, because it gets worse. Nobody, and I repeat, nobody on the right wing, no conservatives, no libertarians, nobody's saying the uptick in crime happened because they defunded the police. Everyone knows they haven't defunded the police. It hasn't already gotten into place yet. But with the riots, even with the looting and stuff before they did that, we're not saying that's the reason. We're saying it's going to get worse if you take the police away. We're not saying this is the reason why. But if your response to all this uptick in crime is let's defund the police, and then you do it next month or in 5 months or in a year, it's going to get worse. No one's saying it's coming from not having police. During the George Floyd riots, every conservative knows they didn't defund the police then. They didn't. We were saying either they didn't have enough, or they were being told to stand down, or they weren't deploying National Guard, or they were just overwhelmed. So she's doing a straw man argument that not a single person is making. No one thinks they've been defunded as far as like it's been implemented already. Everyone knows that. We're just saying we think it's going to get worse when it does happen. So the first 30 seconds has nothing to do with an argument that anyone made. Let's continue.
They have not even happened yet. So keep in mind that this uptick in crime that's happening right now is with a $6 billion New York City Police Department budget. So our $6 billion, up to $11 billion, but our $6 billion budget has not prevented this uptick in crime. We have funded more and more. We have shoved more and more and more money every single year into the NYPD, $6 billion. And it has not prevented this uptick in crime. So
all right, before we continue, I'm just going to break down every part. So this is where I actually agree with her when it comes to spending money on police, when it comes to spending money on programs for the inner cities, for schools, for all this stuff. The amount of money is not going to work. I actually agree with her for any of these things, whether it's the police or systems like homelessness. The money doesn't work if the money's not working right. For example, in California, they spent over $1 billion on homelessness, but they mismanaged the money. They built one thing in 3 years. They mismanaged it. My statement is similar to hers with poverty and homelessness. You could give these politicians trillions of dollars, trillions. It's not going to solve the problem. It's not just specifically a money problem. It's a mindset problem and a cultural problem. Better schools will help. Mental institutions will help. Having families together will astronomically help, which is weird that these activists want to split up the nuclear family because it's pretty statistically proven on both sides that leads to a lot of other problems down the road. I myself have come from a split family, and I was, a rebel rouser when I was in kindergarten. That probably had a lot to do with it. Overall, I turned out fine. However, I can speak from experience. There are, problems that come with that type of lifestyle, and that's what we're trying to say. So I actually agree with her. I'll get into it later, but the money is not going to matter. You could give the police, you can give them billions, trillions. How are you spending the money? And what are you instilling to the mind? You give trillions of dollars to the streets of New York City and California, but then you pump this rap music, and I'm a hip hop artist myself. You pump this music that doesn't uplift people, like say a Chance the Rapper or a Kanye West or whoever, somebody who uplifts their people. Like I don't agree with Chance the Rapper politically, but music-wise, he's a really nice guy. He's a Christian kid who means well. He's a really nice kid. Same with Logic, the rapper. There's a lot of really nice rappers that do good work. And then there's a lot of rappers that tell people to pop pills, murder people for $2,000, like really dumb lyrics that the kids are listening to. So the culture matters. The mindset matters. Who you're telling them to be matters. If you get mad at Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum and Thomas Sowell and Herman Cain and Ben Carson and Bryson Gray, if you get mad at them because they're respectable, Americans who actually love this country, believe in freedom of speech, want to be strong, want to be educated, want to be smart, don't want to be a degenerate. When you get mad at them and say, you guys are bad people, but we're going to, just make all these other people seem amazing. That's called culture. You're making that the culture. So I'm going to play it again, but there's a reason, and I'm just going to keep it 100 with everybody. When a lot of Africans come to America, Nigerians specifically, they do astronomically well. If you look at like demographic economics of how much they're making yearly, a lot of Nigerian parents, they come from good family households, and a lot of them, not all of them, but a decent portion, they tell their kids, like, don't get caught up in the street life, don't get caught up in Black American culture, because that's not our Black culture. We don't act like that. Our family units are not like that. Our mindsets are not like that. We're go-getters. We're not victims. So they tell their kids to watch out for that stuff, because that mindset's destructive. It will ruin you regardless of your ethnicity or where you come from. So there's a bigger story that's going on here. It's called the culture and the mindset that has been pumped into people through the entertainment industry, through mass media, through social media outlets, and they defend that culture. Whereas people like Bill Cosby used to always rail against that culture. Bill Cosby, say what you want about him, he was one successful guy, tried to buy NBC, I think, but he would always tell people, like, don't act that way. We have to build ourselves up. He was like the father figure. And where is he? In prison. Not saying that's why, but I'm just saying it's like there have been people who have tried to reform the culture in the entertainment industry, and they don't end up in good places all the time. And the people that promote the degeneracy and the people that promote the bad mindset, if I followed that mindset, I'd be in jail or I'd be dead if I acted like what I heard. And if you go to Bed-Stuy, which I've actually been in, I've stayed in for weeks with my friend, and I've actually helped some kids there just on the low. I bought a kid a camera and sent it to him in Bed-Stuy, a kid who was really smart but didn't have a family figure. I was there. And they listen to that music. That's who they listen to. That's who they look up to. Lil Wayne. These rappers, when you don't have a father and you don't have a parent structure, you don't have a good school, you're listening to the athletes, and athletes are better role models. You're listening to the musicians. Most musicians are horrible role models. That is the culture. So if you want to help the mindset and the culture, it's a bigger issue than money. It's a bigger issue than blaming or believing in the police. It's a bigger issue than what anybody on the left wing or the progressives are trying to say. And what they do that's really messed up is they attack the intellects. They attack the strong, non-victimized Black Americans like Herman Cain and Ben Carson, who make something of themselves and believe in low taxes and personal liberty and freedom, and try to destroy racism by saying, I'm not going to lie about it. I shared a video before I played again, or an article from Daily Mail. There was this, Latino guy, gay Latino guy from Colorado or whatever, who staged a hate crime against himself. It's like, this happens often. There's hundreds of fake hate crimes. There's a whole website about it. So this country is so good. Like in Libya, you don't have the luxury of staging things against yourself. It's like a life or death situation. People come here and then stage crimes. It must be an amazing country that the demand for hate crimes is more than the supply, that you have to create your own. Like what's going on here? It's because victim culture sells, especially on the left wing. If you're not getting attention, if you're not getting fundraising, how do you get attention and fundraising? Make yourself into a victim. They see that formula and they recreate it. So we have to program the minds of the youth to be smarter and better and more uplifting and wiser, rather than say do this, do that, do pills, sell this, do that. And then they do that and then they end up dead or in jail. It's not just a racial thing between the police. It's a mindset problem. It's definitely a financial and poverty problem, but it's also, how do you carry yourself? What do you do? At what point do you bust out of that, that mindset? I'm going to play the rest, but to me, that's the silver, or the big elephant in the room that nobody on the left wants to talk about. And it's not politically correct to talk about, but it will save so many lives if we could shift the culture into something that's more uplifting and positive and away from this type of lifestyle. Another rapper got shot yesterday, one of DaBaby's artists, I believe, in Atlanta. Who did he get shot by? A police officer? Almost definitely not. What were the ethnicity? I don't know. I didn't follow up on the story, but this type of stuff happens every day, all across the country. It's a way bigger problem, and we could get to the core of why, but we can't act like it's not happening if you really care about people. And when you get to the core of it, like the Don Lemons on TV, someone like Terry Cruz, who's a nice guy, he goes to him and say, I don't want little Black kids to die. This is crazy. And Don Lemon's like, oh, if that's how you feel, then start your own movement. So Don Lemon goes on television and says Black Lives Matter shouldn't care about all Black lives. They're only focused on when police officers kill unarmed people or police. Well, then it's going to be a very small movement, because on a scale of what is happening in this country, from heart disease, from bad food products, from, diseases, and also, interracial and inner city crime, that's one of the smallest percentage of things. So if that's your movement is kind of, basura, which means trash. So, I don't understand exactly what they're going for, but I don't know that they know either. Let's continue. Let's listen to AOC and we'll keep it moving.
$1 billion. And it has not prevented this uptick in crime. So but let's back up. Why is this uptick in crime happening? Let's really think about it. Well, this uptick in crime, the NYPD themselves have told a story that's disproven by their own data. At first, the NYPD, they went out.
Canuck, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you.
They said, okay, this uptick in crime is happening because of bail reform, because of all of these reforms that we had now. Wait, but they just released data a couple weeks ago that showed that out of almost all the people who have been found to have kind of committed crimes, etc., almost none have been re-released due to the bail reform. Like, their actual crime data from the NYPD, not even independent data, disproves what they're saying. So why is this uptick in crime happening?
This is the part.
Well, let's think about it. Do we think this has to do with the fact that there's record unemployment in the United States right now? The fact that people are at a level of economic desperation that we have not seen since the Great Recession? Maybe this has to do with the fact that people aren't paying their rent and are scared to pay their rent. And so they go out and they need to feed their child and they don't have money. So you maybe they're put in a position where they feel like they either need to shoplift some bread or go hungry that night.
So before I get into what she just said, I'm a big believer in not just like body language, but like, you can really look into somebody's eyes and feel their energy and like see what type of person they are. For instance, Elizabeth Warren is one of the angriest people in politics. When you see her energy is like this. She looks like an angry pigeon. Her eyes are bugging out. Like when I listen to Elizabeth Warren, to me, that doesn't sound like a calm, confident, rational, sane, mentally healthy person. It seems like somebody who's mentally unstable and has a lot of demons inside. And I pray for Elizabeth. We all have problems, but like, you just don't feel good listening to her. You could tell she's like a pigeon. Like if you're at Chick-fil-A and she's like, and you're like, whoa, relax, lady. Like we could talk, and AOC kind of has that too, where her, like she always looks like really uncomfortable, because she is uncomfortable because it's not a comfortable lifestyle to be so dishonest and buy into so many lies and be the face and the representative of all of those lies. So you're going to have bad energy when you talk, and your body language is going to be bad. It's just how things work. So, the reads on her and Elizabeth Warren, they have two of the worst energy in politics, not just with like eye contact, but just like the energy in their eyes. You could, they say you could tell a lot about people's soul by their eyes, and, they just got such bad, like, it's just like, and then like, just like they're uncomfortable, but you would be if you're not at peace yourself. You're going to be uncomfortable. But her theory is that the murder uptick came because people need bread, so they're just robbing stores. If people were out here robbing stores, I'd agree with her. I think the shutdown was evil. I think the government overreached. I think what they did to people is terrible, and the shutdown is part of it. I agree with her, but you have to look at all these murders. How many of these murders are they just going into a corner store and murdering the person and stealing bread? Almost none of them are doing that. I'm going to read a recent one. A 1-year-old boy shot at an NYC cookout. The 1-year-old boy was shot in the stomach during a cookout at a Brooklyn park, has died from injuries. The baby, in addition to 3 men, were shot. They drove up in a dark SUV and parked in front of the victims. They hopped out and opened fire. They weren't doing that to get food from the cookout. There's major problems going on. I would assume that in a lot of cities where there's a lot of murder, whether it be Chicago or there, they're not murdering each other to steal the food that they have. It's just, gang violence, internal beef, community beef, just senseless, arguments and stuff like that. Very few of it is like targeted, specifically stealing their food. So that's just not even remotely why the crime uptick happened. However, I do agree with her that the shutdown has a lot to do with it. You've taken away, and this is one of the wickedest things the government's done, in my opinion, in a long time. You've taken away people's job. You've taken away people's sense of purpose. A lot, especially in these communities, a lot of people don't have the luxury to go to a gym. Their gym's closed. They might not even have a gym in their area. They don't have an outdoor area at the, at some of the places that they live. And in their community, it's not safe to walk around. I know what that's like because where I moved from, albeit not the worst place in the world, it was not a very safe area, and it kept getting more and more unsafe. I didn't even want to go to the gym that much when it was open. And then when it closed, there was nothing to do, and only the people on the streets were doing street activity. Nobody else was on the streets. There were no tourists or people going anywhere because everything's closed. So it does destroy a community. It does make it more unsafe, and it is because of the shutdown, in my opinion, that it's getting worse, but not because they're stealing food from other people. It's just taken purpose and meaning and careers away from people and then left everybody aimless. And then you have what happened with the George Floyd situation. And then in the aftermath, you saw in Santa Monica, in West Hollywood, in New York City, in Minneapolis, you saw that the police got overwhelmed. And when that happened, I knew it was going to be an ugly week, because when the police show weakness and people think, hey, I could literally rob this store, I could literally do this and no one's going to stop me, then it sends out the message to the whole country. So we do need to get back to work. We do need to end the shutdown. We do need to feed people. I do agree even with the shutdown, but that's not what's going on in these cities. And defunding the police is just not going to help. If you look at the statistics of why stuff are happening, it's not like the police are out here just gunning people down. I'm sure they save much more lives than they destroy. And these type of people, I'm not saying her specifically, when they do award shows and when they go to their fancy events, there's police everywhere. They shut down, they build walls, they make it so no one can get near them, and they have security detail almost everywhere that they go. But they get that so they don't feel the consequences. And that's a huge problem, in my opinion, for why Republicans and Democrats have been so weak from the shutdown. They don't feel the consequences. Donald Trump does not lose his job. Greg Abbott in Texas doesn't lose his job. Gavin Newsom doesn't lose his job. They don't lose money. They probably don't even lose sleep over this. They don't lose anything. But if you lose a business, I got a message from somebody yesterday on Instagram who said, Anomaly, I've been suicidal. 3 of my friends have killed themselves already from this shutdown. And I was like, God bless you, stay strong. They want you to feel that way. And I tried to help them, and I think it worked to an extent. But they don't see that. How many people have committed suicide? How many people are gaining weight because they don't have anywhere to go? They can't go to the gym or their job. How many people in that weight gain are going to eventually suffer from coronavirus or another one, because those are the demographics that it hurts? It's the elderly because they're old and have weaker bodies, and people who aren't in good shape. And that's true to almost every disease and virus. So they're making people unhealthy. Every time the government tries to play mommy and daddy, they end up destroying. That's why I reject what AOC wants. She wants bigger government control over healthcare. She wants, I'm sure she never wants the mask mandate to end. She'll say, wear it, do this, do that. The government gets involved even too much during Trump, and they try to do what's best for you, but they don't look at Congress. I'm sorry, besides maybe like Jim Jordan and, Tom Fitton from Judicial Watch, I don't see very many politicians in better shape than me. I'm not saying I'm like Mr. Athlete, but I look at 90% of these politicians. How are they going to tell me how to be healthy? They're not even healthy. Half of them look disgusting, and they don't take care of themselves. I'm not making fun of them, but it's like, how are you going to tell me how to live my life? I can't make money, but you can make money. I can't go to the gym, but you can go to the gym. I can't have police officers, but you can have police officers. I can't have a security, but you have security. I can't go and actually breathe air, but you can. They don't suffer from this stuff. So it is a very out of touch thing. But overall, with the NYC crime, and then I'm going to get to some comments and we'll hang out for 40 minutes or so and I'll answer questions. But in uptick in crime, I'm going to tell you the reasons why New York City, Los Angeles, a lot of these areas are going to have an uptick of crime. The first thing is the mindset and the culture. It's the biggest, most important thing. I've come from an area, that was not very wealthy. And because of the mindset there's also just not a lot of murder, because not everyone does that. Not everybody thinks that that's a lifestyle that they want to live. Some people get drunk. Some people die of pills. Like, there is poverty all over the world, but the crime rate does not have to be so high, even with the poverty. It's the mindset and the culture. It's what America has told Black Americans and now white Americans and Hispanic Americans, all Americans. They're making it all our culture now, conveniently trying to destroy our actual culture and trying to say, this is who you are. If you're strong, if you're independent, if you're unapologetic, if you're a strong man, if you believe in a man and a woman and a nuclear family, you're a horrible person. You believe in the Second Amendment, you're They're trying to push this culture of just opposite world, which is going to destabilize the family, which is going to separate the man from the woman, whether it be the father from the daughter or the husband from the wife, and leave women vulnerable and leave kids vulnerable. And at the core of it, that's what wicked people want to do. They want people to be vulnerable and more easy to control. So that's what's going on here, and that's what they're pushing. The mindset and the culture is a huge part of why they're killing each other. They don't have to act like that, and they shouldn't think that that's the right way to live. But rappers tell them it's cool. The entertainers tell them it's cool. CNN and MSNBC make excuses for them. People like AOC don't want to talk about it because it's not politically correct or trendy. And they don't have to suffer the consequences of what it's like to live in Bed-Stuy with no cops. She doesn't live in Bed-Stuy. Why would she know what it's like to be a 1-year-old at a cookout in Bed-Stuy? She probably never lived there and never will go there. Maybe she will, but you get what I'm saying? It's the mindset and the culture. Also, the family unit and the father and the mother raising the kid, as opposed to the father gone, the mother having to work or doing something else, and then the kids get raised by government schools. That's a huge problem. So you really want to solve mindset, culture, family unit. That's all very, very, very important. I think more important than any policy or platform or thing that they're going to push trillions of dollars. It's not going to work. Defunding the police, certainly not going to work. Taking away police officers. I've been to Bed-Stuy. When I was there, there was a police officer on every corner. In Bed-Stuy, it makes you feel safer. I don't like to see police, but in Bed-Stuy, I've been threatened. Somebody said they were going to kill me at the corner store. It's pretty crazy there. So, I only was there for a week or so, but some people live there. So I'm sure the people that aren't committing crime and that don't want to be murdered are appreciative to see the police officers there, like I was. I'm not a fan of them, but I'm like, I don't want to get killed out here. So you take it away, that's not going to solve the problem. And on top of that, the main thing that's going to destroy these cities is millions of people are leaving. Who's leaving these cities? I've talked to people of all ethnicities, El Salvadorians, white, Hispanic, people that realize that what's going on is messed up. They're all leaving. So you're having smart people who contribute and don't commit crime and who want to just like build. They're going to Arizona. They're going to other parts of California. They're going to Texas. They're going to Florida, hopefully not voting Democrat to destroy the new area they went. But everyone's leaving. So you're having millions of people who don't commit crimes are leaving and millions of people who build and actually contribute to the community leaving. Who's going to stay? So you're defunding the police. The amount of degenerates in that community is going to start becoming the more majority. And these liberals like AOC and Jenny Durkin and Frey, they're over their heads. They're weak, spineless people who have no strength, no ability to really crack down when they have to against crime and other stuff. It's going to get worse for those reasons. And a lot of the top 1%, like AOC doesn't understand, if you raise taxes on the top percent, we're going to tax the billionaires 60%. They don't have to stay there. They don't have to stay in New York. They don't have to stay in California. They can move to Idaho. They can move to Nevada. And if America gets too crazy with Democrats, they could go to Mexico or China like they've been doing over the past 10 years. That's why Trump lowered taxes. He's lowering tax to bring the businesses back. It's the only way to get them back. If you raise it, no one has to stay there. They act this crazy. I don't have to stay in Los Angeles, so I didn't. I don't want to be there, so I'm not. I left. So have millions of people. Millions of good people are leaving. You're going to be left with people that are not so great and a lot of amazing people as well. But the average quality is going to go down. And then once the billionaires, the 1% that pays like half of the taxes, once they leave, who's going to pay all your taxes? They're not going to have any money. We're going to raise it on the billionaires. If that billionaire leaves, you're going to lose more tax money than you are with like 100,000 people of my tax bracket. So you're chasing away the wealthy. You're chasing away the people who are like conservatives and hold down their community. And you're going to be left with sheer destruction. No money, nobody to save you, no police officers. So besides mindset, culture, family structure, things like religion, like, why are Kanye and, Chance the Rapper like semi-decent people? they're Christians. I'm not saying you have to be a decent person, but like Chance the Rapper is one of the nicest rappers on the planet as far as his lyrics and stuff and his mindset. He's a Christian. I'm sure that helped him. If he wasn't, he probably wouldn't have ended up good. So the things that actually like family and structure that keep you from being a degenerate are being torn away by who? Who wants to tear them around? The AOCs, the Black Lives Matter, who are a Marxist organization. Admittingly, they're trained Marxists. Karl Marx, whose father was a Talmudic rabbi, you could look up his real name. Karl Marx created communism and his, what was it? The Communist Manifesto. He's known as the father of communism. Marxism is communism. Who likes Karl Marx? Black Lives Matter. Who likes Black Lives Matter? All the corporations and people like AOC. Why? Because they're socialist / communist Marxists. That's what they believe. They want the society to be destroyed to take over. It's in the book. They're not surprised by what's going on. They're like, yes, I can't wait. AOC's in the corner like, yeah, this is what we wanted. Yeah, defund the police. They're not trying to stop crime. Maybe they think it's going to work, but I have everything I said here. Have you ever heard them talk about it? Have you ever heard them debunk it? Have you ever heard them even remotely try to, intelligently break it down without saying racist, sexist, it's this, it's that? They can't do it. All they can do is just make up stuff. Like, listen to why she thinks crime is up in New York City right now. I'm going to play the clip again, and then we're going to get to questions.
Their rent. And so they go out, and since the Great Recession, maybe this has to do with the fact that people aren't paying their rent and are scared to pay their rent. And so they go out and they need to feed their child and they don't have money. So you maybe they're put in a position where they feel like they either need to shoplift some bread or go hungry that night.
If she was talking about people looting, that makes total sense. I get what she's saying, but she's not. She's talking about the uptick in total overall crime. It has to do with the shutdown, just not exactly what she said about it. But that's the story for today. God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. I'll stay for like 30 minutes or so, answer some questions, then we'll get back to the basics. Canuck said, I grew up in a home because my mother didn't want me. I'm white. What privilege do I have? Please tell me so I can get privilege. LOL. Well, God bless you, Canuck. I'm glad you're here. My parents divorced as well. It happens, but at the end of the day, then it's relying on who raises you. Your mother, your father, whoever takes care of you, your caretaker. How good of a job they do. They send you to school. How good are the schools? What are they teaching you? What's society teaching you? I was listening to rap music and Linkin Park. It's like, what were they? It all makes a difference. So we all have to do our part. And if you ignore all these things and just blame police officers, it's not going to get better. They're a part of the puzzle, but there's all these other things. Let's talk about it all. They say it's this, and if you talk about this, you're a bad person. It's like, no, you can't talk about 1% and then shame me for talking about 99%. You could talk about 1%, but you can't. If you say what I don't want you to say, you must say what I say. It's like, no, that's not how it works. Canuck, thank you. Appreciate you. Someone said, end drug war, lower corrupt police, prison work. Yeah, I've never been a fan of the drug war. It doesn't. You can't like fight a drug, but it's weird with all the war on drugs. They still haven't been able to stop fentanyl. So clearly, they're not putting their resources to the right places. They should, stop fentanyl from coming over the border. So people are dying in numbers. I'm going to tell you guys this: outside of government policies. Stay away from pills, stay away from cocaine, stay away from any of that stuff. I mean, in general, that's just good advice, but especially now. I'm not saying that you should ever do it, but everybody on here is not a saint. I'm sure there's people who have experimented this stuff. I'm not saying it's right, but don't do it. I promise you, it's not worth it, especially now. Things are being mixed with fentanyl. So other stuff that normally wouldn't have killed you, that, maybe just wasn't healthy, fentanyl, too much of it will kill you. Mac Miller died from it. The Angels pitcher died from it. People are dying because it's a drug that's really, it's very small dose, does a high amount. So stay away from that stuff, even if traditionally you've done it. It's never great to do in general, but just stay away because everything's being mixed. And I think it's almost really an attack on this country. I don't know. To me, it's not a good drug to, usually they use something that stretches it out. That's not really what fentanyl does. It's like they're lacing it. It's coming from China to Mexico into the United States, and it's not good. So stay away. I want you guys to live long and be healthy. God bless. Matthew said 10 years clean. God bless. Someone said drugs are an attack. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, especially, I'm not making cases for other ones, but like fentanyl is the silent killer in this country and no one's talking about it. I know people all over the place, friends of friends. What happened? They died. People are dropping like flies from fentanyl and no one's talking about it. Someone said my friend died from fentanyl and her other pain meds are all legal RXs for her too. I'm telling you, it's a silent killer. It's killing so many people. It's a bigger killer than coronavirus. You know, you just don't hear about it. I know more people who die from fentanyl than coronavirus. Do you think we will start getting canceled on social media or will it get better? Sheesh, I don't know. I can't tell you. Someone said do another Roseanne show. Yeah, I'll hit up Roseanne. Maybe we'll do a live stream soon. I'm sure she would like it. I bring the best out of Roseanne because I know she's like a mad genius wizard, and you know, a lot of people sleep on Roseanne. So when I'm in the booth, we get it cracking. I know how to get the best out of her because she's very smart. She's underrated, and people misunderstand her. So I get her. Let's see. I want to talk about the Michigan bill with the RFID chip. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I'll have to look into it. Sorry, I can't talk about it till I know. I'm working on a big video tonight, though, about, you'll see, but I'm working on a big video. It's going to take me a lot of today. I was going to do it earlier, but I'll do it later. Someone said, I thought it was opioid. Opioids are killing a lot of people, no question. Opioid overdose is killing a lot of people, but fentanyl overdose might be killing more because it's such a small amount and it's like a hidden, you don't even know it's there. So opioids, you have to take a lot to die. Fentanyl, you might not even know it's in whatever you got, whether it's cocaine or something else, and it can kill you. So that's why I'm saying you got to be really careful. Opioids, you take too many, you die. Fentanyl, you don't even know it's there, and then you're dead. What do you think are the chances of the Republicans growing the party? Sheesh, I don't know. I mean, in general, I think we're going to have an interesting couple years because there's a shift going on, and also, you know, the coalitions of the left and the right. It's interesting to see which one can last longer. So we'll see what happens this election. I think there's a lot of factors going on. We'll see. You know, I think it's pretty close. Someone said, if you don't have good parenting, you need to take responsibility and retrain yourself. Yeah, I mean, I think that's in general, at a certain age, if you get to a certain age, everything's on you, whether you had fantastic parents, bad parents, no parents, like you are where you are and you can't change that. And you have to appreciate it regardless of what you think of your parents. They created you, you're alive, you're here because of them. There's no other way around it. So, you know, at a certain point, yeah, I think it's, you know, it's good to reassess where you're at and try to figure out the way forward, which is why I'm so against, outside of politics, the mindset that changed my life is more conservative. I didn't know it was. It's more spiritual, but it's all about self-accountability, self-awareness, the exact opposite of what the left wing preaches. The left wing preaches the opposite of what every life coach preaches, what every financial coach preaches, what every spiritual Taoist book teaches, literally the opposite. It's like, live in the present moment, take advantage of what you have, be grateful. That's the recipe to success. They say, live in the past, live in the future, don't appreciate anything, blame everybody else for anything. It's the worst mindset you could possibly have, regardless of where you started, regardless. It's a destructive mindset. And that's why when you get all of them in an area, what do? They destroy. What happens when you have tens of thousands of gun owners protesting the Second Amendment? Not a single person dies. You know why? Because it's multiracial, black, white, Hispanic. They're all law-abiding gun owners who just want to be able to protect their families. When you get tens of thousands of looting, robbing, stealing, it's not a coincidence. You give them an area of the city and it turns into Chaz. They're destructive people because their mindsets are horrible. They're not good people. And I'm not saying they can't be good, but it's the opposite of every life coach, every financial coach, any book that I've ever read that before I even knew what Republican or Democrat really meant, or conservative or liberal, every good book I read, Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, books like this, it was the opposite of the liberal mindset. It's literally 180. It's like everything that they say, do the opposite. Live in the past, live in the present. Live in the future, live in the present. Be hateful, no, be grateful. Want more, no, be appreciative. Expect everything from everyone, no, it's literally the opposite. I don't understand. So many of them are spiritual, but then they fall for those politics. We have to show people it's not right. And the Republican Party is not innocent. In fact, they're beyond useless. Their only use is not being Democrats, which is not enough. They need to get better. But, the mindset of the left-wing hive mind outside of politics, just the ideology that they're all operating off of. And that's why you see the leaders, like, you listen to Trump talk, I'm sorry, say what you want about him, say what you want about his tweets, watch him talk. He's very calm, very very smooth. He doesn't really yell. I don't, he'll get like excited and stuff, but he's it's like he's got like a funny little vibe to him. Like Elizabeth Warren is an angry woman. She's got a lot of darkness in her. Like it's like coming out like a pigeon. AOC, her eyes are like just big and dark, and she's always, and I mean, I have dark eyes too, but you go with this soul behind it. She's just like always, and then she'll twist that and be like, that's right. I'm like, no, look at my skin tone. I'm like just as dark as you. But they'll be like, oh, are you saying that because I'm that's a racist trope? It's like, no, I'm just saying you could tell a lot by the energy of someone's eyes. You could have dark eyes, but have light energy. You could also have big, wicked eyes where you're always uncomfortable. She looks like she doesn't even, she looks like she's just bugging out, because she is bugging out. Because how do you live with yourself when you're always lying, when you're always dividing, when you're always it can't be a rewarding lifestyle. Why is Elizabeth Warren so buggy? It's like, she reminds me of, when I used to go to Chick-fil-A, there was an outdoor Chick-fil-A in LA, and they always had pigeons everywhere. And I'm just trying to enjoy, my little 12-piece chicken McNug, or, Chick-fil-A nugget. And the pigeons were just like, and I was like, can't you afford your own Chick-fil-A pigeon? You're always bumming off me. It's just same energy. Someone said, what are the books you recommend to read? I just got my new apartment. I'm getting a bookshelf. Hopefully today it comes in the mail. But I've been kind of lazy over the past couple of years. I wouldn't say lazy, but just doing videos. Also, I lived in a dark apartment. I didn't get sunlight. Different lifestyle. Now I got some light coming in. Now I'm trying to craft. I'm trying to get. So I have older books that I liked, but as far as new books, I have like 20 books here. I'm trying to go to town. I don't know though. I'm such an audio person. Maybe that's why. Like in the last year, I haven't really read too many new books. I listen to hours of interviews, hours of audiobooks, and interesting conversations. I listen to that 3 hours, 4 hours a day. So that's been my intake as far as books. Everyone I like is getting banned. So I go to bitchute.com, bitchute.com, because they don't ban as many people. So I've been listening to a lot of people on there. Someone said, please look into Wayfair. I did a whole thing about it yesterday, and I deleted it because my phone overheated. My phone keeps overheating and shutting down. So hopefully it doesn't happen again. I got to get a new phone. But I talked about the Wayfair thing yesterday. To me, I'm not as bullish on it as everyone else. Obviously, I saw the prices, the coincidences, the names. I've seen it all like everybody else. But to me, it just seems like a trap. The reason being, and I'm gonna do a short version this time because I went into an in-depth version. If you watched my thing yesterday, I talked about it for 20 minutes. But the short version of what I'm saying is, in order to do anything in the realm of human and child trafficking and prove that somebody's doing it and really drop the hammer on them, you need proof. It's not going to be names. It's not going to be over coincidences. It's not going to be prices. You're going to have proof. Who has the most proof out of anybody alive right now? Ghislaine Maxwell is probably the top person who has the most proof and evidence of stuff that can actually move the needle on the cause that everybody's waiting for. So to me, that's the big scoop right now. She's got the info. She's under custody, allegedly. To me, this kind of seems like a diversion or a trap or another version of they're gonna, call it Wayfair Gate and then try to destroy anybody who talked about it. And at the end of the day, whoever did talk about it, you're not gonna have proof. You're not gonna have enough evidence to do anything about it. They're gonna destroy you, and then you're gonna be left with just what everyone else has, pictures, videos, prices, names, and that's just not enough to move the needle. That's my personal thoughts on it. It's seeming like a trap to me, but I understand it's like everyone's really into it. So if you're really into it, you can do your own research. But at the end of the day, you gotta get to a point where you could do something about it. And in general, I don't know. Even with the Maxwell thing, I watch so many people. There's people that are like, they're gonna drop the hammer on her. I watched this chick, probably the best. One of the best channels I've seen in a while. Her name's Really Graceful. I keep plugging her because she's fantastic. Really Graceful on YouTube. Fantastic videos, fantastic editing. She's phenomenal. One of the best that I've seen in a while. She did a whole thing on Maxwell and her family. And basically she thinks that even this is a setup. She thinks that this is like a distraction. I can't say there's so many pieces going on, but in general, I like to stick to what I can do and what I know. And I see a lot of people, our country's shut down. They're pushing these numbers. So if I talk about anything, I like to prove it and be factual. If I can't prove it and be factual, I can't spend a month talking about it. It's only going to get me censored. It's only going to get me silenced, and not even for a cause. If I have proof and I have truth, I'm not afraid. I'm not lying. I'm not going to censor myself. But if I don't have proof, what am I going to harp on something for 2 months? What am I going to get out of it? What are you going to get out of it? What's the world get? Nothing. You get what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. It's not that it's not coincidental or interesting, but to me, the pros and the cons and the, where does this end? It just doesn't add up to anything. It seems like a trap to me. It's screaming like run there, and then they're going to drop the door on everybody who runs there and then get rid of you. That's how I feel. Don't take my word on it. Do what you want to do. You're free to be yourself and listen to other people, but that's my personal perspective on that particular story. Someone said Ghislaine will be on trial tomorrow. Watch it. Now that's something I want to see. Someone said stick to the facts. Exactly. Ascension Perez said, why do they let you speak so much? I'm hard to do it. What are you going to do about what I'm doing? I mean, I'm nice, I'm honest, I'm funny. But I stick to what I know. They tried to fact check me one time, brother. One time on my video about man-manipulated viruses, and I was literally saying, I'm smoother than other people. I mean, they could still censor me. They've deleted my videos on YouTube, but for no reason. But I don't come out and make claims that I can't prove. Other people do that. They just think they have the moral high ground. So I'm just going to say whatever I want. I don't do that. So when I said there's man-manipulated viruses, I didn't say for sure this is one. I just said they're real. Here's how they're real. I show clips. I show Bill Gates clips. It's all provable. So when I got fact-checked the one time on Facebook by USA Today, they changed their fact check. I was so accurate and they were so fake. I called them out. I talked to somebody at Facebook. I said, hey, they're fact-checking me and they're wrong. I'm right. And USA Today got enough. I put out a video, got 500,000 views. USA Today actually had to change their fact check, but it's because I stick to the facts. There's other people who are good, but they don't have the dedication and accuracy that I do. So you get what I'm saying? Some people are like 85% on point, but 15% of the time they're just saying whatever they want to say, regardless of what they could prove. So I think that's why they're not doing anything. What could, anyone could do anything at any time, but I'm very smooth and calculated and honest, and I don't let my emotions get the best of me most times. Like some people say, well, I want this to be true, so I don't even care. And then they just say whatever, and then they get caught lying, and then they get shut down. Then you don't have the moral high ground. You see what I'm saying? If you have the moral and truth high ground, you can be confident. If you're an honest guy, like I followed somebody on Twitter, he was a good guy, but he would be wrong like every week. And then he gets deleted. He doesn't have the high ground now because he lied too many times, or he exaggerated too many times, or he said things as a statement, as a fact that weren't factual. So just because you're a truther or a right winger or a Republican, it doesn't mean you have the moral high ground to just say whatever you want. My videos are so on point that they tried to fact check it one time, and I got them to change their own fact check because I proved, what are you talking about? And then they're like, Yeah, most maybe false. You know, I'm not the right one to mess with, but to each their own. Someone said, "And you're brave." Yeah, but it annoys me because I'm not even gonna get into it. We're gonna stick to the love and get to more questions. But like with me, I do so well. People say, "Well, why doesn't Alma get this?" I'm telling you right off the jump. No manager, no agency or corporation, no record label, no deal, no publication, no Gateway Pundit or Daily Wire or TPSA. No one's paying me. No one's funding me. Nobody's hiring me. People are trying now. People are reaching out. Like I like what you do. I'm one of the most, if not the most independent person. I'm not being paid. I'm not being bribed. I'm not being forced. Nobody's forcing my hand. I'm not a gatekeeper trying to sap that. I do whatever I want, whenever I want. I built it myself. I use my own computer that I bought with my own money. I use my cell phone that I paid for myself since I was a young adult. Everything I do, I've funded. I mean, people help with Patreon and watching the videos and stuff like that. People are awesome. It's all optional, but I'm doing it all myself. No one's paying me. No one's producing it. I work very, very hard and I work very, very smart. And I am very careful about what I say. Other people don't work as hard. Other people don't work as smart. Other people are not as careful. So sometimes they get bopped. And sometimes people get falsely attacked. A lot of people have been falsely deleted. Everyone plays their role, but this is my role. And that's the reason I'm here. And that's the reason I haven't been messed with to this point. But it annoys me when people try to say that means something. Well, my friend got deleted and you didn't. Well, it could. I got 2 videos deleted on YouTube. It happens. They've deleted entire channels that I watched that got falsely deleted. It's a possibility that could happen to anyone at any time. I'm not acting like I'm better than it, but it's like people try to use that against me. Like, well, how come you're doing so well? I don't know. Have you worked 60-hour weeks for 10 years and taken no vacations from the time you were 23 to 29? That's what I did. So. Yes, sir. Kenneth said that's why Trump is hated. They can't control him like you. I think so. You could say Trump. Some people even that watch me, they don't like Trump that much. You could say you disagree with them. There's policy preferences, foreign policy I don't agree with. I think that's the dynamic of it. Regardless of what you don't like he does, I don't think he's controllable. And at worst, he's the least controllable person ever. On his worst day, he's less controllable. That's why they hate him. They can't control him. They can try to guide him, but at any second, Trump can be like, no. Like today he called out the CDC. He retweeted Chuck Woolery. I'll find it for you guys. This is legendary. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. Here's what he retweeted today from Chuck Woolery. This is our president, Donald J. Trump. He retweeted Chuck Woolery, who's like a host on Game Show Network. I love that guy. He said, the most outrageous lies are the one about COVID-19. Everyone is lying. The CDC, media, Democrats, our doctors, not all, but most, that we are told to trust. I think it's about the election and keeping the economy from coming back, which is about the election. I'm sick of it. Trump retweeted that. He said the CDC is lying. I didn't say that. Trump said that. That's crazy. The president of the United States, some people look at that and say, oh my God, how dare Trump say that? I look at that and be like, I'm sorry. I listen, there's amazing people at the CDC. I'm sure there's fantastic people in all levels of government and every agency, but there's also some bad stuff going on there. So when Trump calls out the CIA, the FBI, or the CDC, I'm sure they have fantastic employees, but at the same time, they're not above reproach. If you can criticize the Democrats and the Republicans, you should be able to criticize them. So when he does that, I'm like, oh my goodness, he questioned the CDC. Like some people are like, how dare? It's like, who do you think these people are? They think they're like Jesus returned, like just doing all perfect work. That's not what's going on. So it's like, who told these people that you can't question? He questioned the experts at the CDC. They questioned themselves. Their story changed 10 times. All right, let's get back. Let's see what's cracking. And he said, any quotes from Kaylee McSlaley? Kaylee's really good at her job. She's doing good work. Someone said, I don't care for Trump personally, but he's doing more than what we could have in there. On his worst day, he's doing more. Joe Biden, it's nuts. If you saw the amount of people Obama commuted, I posted it earlier. Trump commuted 11 people and they're freaking out. Obama commuted over like 1,700 people. Times what? Times 100 of what Trump, over 100 times what Trump did. It's like they don't. You get it. I'm over it. So it's an interesting. I'm gonna try to see some other ones. Michael said, anyone know where King Solomon's magic ring is? You know, the one he used. No, I can't remember. My buddy was trying to tell me something about that one time, but I don't really know too much about that. I would have to watch something. Eric said, what do you think about the White House distancing themselves from Fauci? I like it personally. Like, listen, I have love for the experts. I have love for the virologists, but what they do, it's the same thing they do with like climate science. And there's a lot of real stuff with it. But if you agree with them, you're the expert. If you're an expert and you disagree with them, they destroy your life. For instance, Luc Montagnier is one of the most prized virologists on the planet. He discovered HIV. Besides the discovery of HIV, what discoveries have there really been recently? You have Watson and Crick with the DNA. You have him with HIV. There's not that many he's one of the, in my opinion, top virologists of the last 50, 60 years. He said he believes the virus was man manipulated, and he explains why. He looked at the genome. He gets banned and censored and deleted, and they say he's crazy. So I agree with the experts, but when you have experts saying that Black Lives Matter protests are good, but right-wing protests that are smaller are bad, and that it's actually slowing the spread of the virus when they protest, but they're not experts anymore. They're like brainwashed partisan hacks. So with Fauci, he's been the head of whatever his institute is, the Infectious Disease Institute, since the Reagan era, 30, 40 years. I don't trust the guy. I think he has vested interests in other places. And I was one of the earliest people saying that I don't think he's the real deal. The reason I was so early was because Dr. Shiva. I saw Dr. Shiva, who I think was the most early. He started talking about Fauci in March. And I listened to him and what he had to say, and he went through his history, and I was like, wow, that's interesting. And then a lot of people through Shiva started finding out, and then the hashtag Fire Fauci started trending, and it took Trump probably longer than it needed to. But I think Trump figured out that he's not the real deal. It's not just like, oh, Trump doesn't listen to the experts. Not all the experts are really experts, and in science, there's not a consensus. Just because one guy has a big position, if the head of CNN says that this is real news and this is not real news, does everyone stop working? Well, whoa, he's the head of CNN, so he runs news. That's not how science works either. Dr. Fauci is not the most brilliant scientist on the planet. He's one of the most well-connected and powerful bureaucratic health gatekeepers on the planet. It doesn't mean he's the brightest mind in science. So you get what I'm saying? I'm very glad Trump is once again, like he always does, proving to be the real deal. Everybody hates on him. And even I was getting annoyed because he was wrong. And someone asked me about the Q stuff earlier. I'm just going to explain it now. This is my big problem with that movement. There's a lot of great stuff, a lot of deep diving, there's a lot of good stuff coming out of it, but there's also a lot of bad stuff coming out of it. One of the worst aspects of it that I've had to deal with is when you question Trump and when you question what they're doing, a lot of these people freak out at you. Not all, there's fantastic people, but there are a lot of people who freak out at you. How dare you? He knows what he's doing. Trust the plan. And it's like, no, he doesn't always know that. He wants to hear it from Tucker Carlson. His campaign follows me. They want to hear it from me, or they don't, and I don't care. They're going to hear it if it's true. So if enough people say it, they figure it out. He wasn't exposing Fauci 2 months ago. He got fooled by Fauci, and now he realizes it. So it would have saved a lot of time if enough people stand up against this stuff like Tucker Carlson or myself. It's not this game of to see who's more loyal. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for the country. Stand up for the First Amendment. Stand up for the Second Amendment. Don't wait for Daddy Trump to do everything. So that's my least favorite part of it. Is like, we knew this early on, but there was so much resistance coming from the Republican Party because so many people think Trump is this deity that shouldn't be questioned. He's a rational guy. Trump is a guy who listens. When Tucker Carlson blasts the Republican Party, Trump doesn't sit there and say, trust the plan. How dare you question me, Tucker? Trump says, he's a nice guy. He looks at it and says, man, that's true. He's a fair, smart leader. He's busy doing a million things. He's got a million fake advisors. When Tucker says the truth, it's good. He's a humble person who actually listens. So it's okay to question him. It's okay to, you can't just play this game where everything is like perfect because Trump secretly did it. That's not true. He's got Kushner in one ear. He's got, Tucker Carlson in one ear, he's got Lindsey Graham in one ear, he's got Rand Paul in one ear. I'm trying to be another person in the ear, not to hate on him, but early on, the shutdown was whack. Fauci was whack, and he figured that out now. But he figured it out now because there was so much. Dr. Shiva, Diamond and Silk, Tucker Carlson, Lori. Once everybody starts saying it, because he's got Kushner in his ear, then he turns and says, oh, okay. He's that type of guy. That's why I love him. I didn't agree with what he was doing, but what is he doing now? He kind of realized it. Why? Because he actually listens. He's the most free, open president ever. Obama is doing an agenda. Bush is doing an agenda. Trump is like open season, guys. He's the best. In my opinion, he'll listen. You want to do prison reform? He might do it. You want to stop a war? He might listen to you. You want to open the country? He might listen to you. You want to not do that? He doesn't. That's what you get. What I'm saying? That's the point I'm getting to. Is like a lot of people gave me a lot of backlash in March from the Trump movement, a lot of backlash in April because I was calling this stuff out. But once again, I'm not saying I get fooled as well a lot, but it's okay to say that because he'll eventually say it if it's the true thing. To me, that's the best part of him. It's like it's a good thing. All right. Someone said, I think Trump does try to listen to people that aren't just out there to bash him. Exactly. And that's why the Democrats and a lot of these liberals, they're not trying to solve anything. They're just like babies. He said it on the Dan Bongino podcast. Trump said, I like being criticized by people who are telling the truth. He's a smart guy. That if somebody tells me something that's true, I like it. If somebody's just saying, no, it's this, I don't like it because it's annoying. That's how Trump is. He likes hearing it. He's a good leader. That's what a good leader does. He doesn't want to hear Democrats lie about, Trump golfed. And it's like, that's not going to move the needle. It's going to be being honest, being fair, not just bashing him like an emotional baby, but being like, hey, stop doing this. I don't like it in a nice way. And then he listens. He said he listens. So it's okay to call him out in a fair, honest, nice way. He's great on that aspect. But a lot of people are like, no, trust the plan. How dare you? And it's like, calm down. We'll all do you play your part. I'll play my part. But just try to be accurate and try to be fair and try to be open to the idea that albeit Trump does well, he's got a lot of bad advisors. He's got a lot of people on all sides. He tweeted out 2 weeks ago, he said, I'm the lone warrior or something. Like he's basically signaling to you, I'm out here alone. I'm in Washington and I'm surrounded by snakes. Like how is he doing it? It's nuts. I get why people make him a superhero because he's doing the impossible. But he's telling you, he's like, he's looking for loyal people. I get why people are loyal, but he's like, I'm out here. Everybody's lying to me. I'm out here in the jungle just crushing, So it's okay to be like a Tucker or me, where it's like, hey, don't do that. Same with free speech. Same with certain work visas. I'm pro-immigration, but I'm anti corporations undermining American labor and getting cheap foreign labor to, undercut the American worker and hire other people. It's not I like immigration, but certain aspects of it need to be reformed, just like illegal immigration, reform. So when Trump does something like that, Tucker Carlson calls him out, Laura Ingraham calls him out, I call him out. It's okay to do that. It's not like F you, we hate you. It's like, nah, I don't agree with that. And same with the shutdown. And you get what I'm saying? It's okay to do that. Someone said Tucker resigned. No, Tucker did not resign. One of his top writers resigned because he was posting on a message board or something and he got caught. I don't know. Tucker did not resign, I don't believe. I think his worker resigned. Yes, sir. Someone said, I think part of the plan requires us to speak out and call out the BS. Absolutely. Let it inspire you to be honest. Let it inspire you to be patriotic. Let it inspire you to do research. Let it inspire you to call out the nonsense. But, everyone reacts differently to everything. So some people take it as like a don't you dare question Trump. Other people are inspired, make documentaries. So it's all love for me. It's just like, let it inspire you to do what's right. Don't let it make you spiral in too many rabbit holes where you're just lashing out at people for disagreeing. But that's a personal thing. So I'm fair about it. There's pros and cons to everything. So that's just my one that is hard to say because then people don't want to hear it. But you guys get it. You guys are smart. Yeah, his writer resigned. Someone says super chats. You want me to read them? Sorry, brother, you don't have to do a super chat, but if you post it, I'll try to read it. I get lost in the sauce sometimes and I don't see it. And I got 3,000 people on Facebook and I got 584 on. So I'm trying to get everything. What are my opinions on the St. Louis couple having their guns seized? I think it's unfair. I don't know the laws and the rules there. I'd have to double check, but I think they were defending their property. And hopefully the pro out of this is there's a lot of Democrats that are moderates. Like, you know, I know people personally in my close circle, they've always voted Democrat for the unions. You know, Democrats were never this radical. Even Obama. Watch Obama talk. He did not act like this. You can say what you want about him. I'm not saying he's innocent, but as far as domestic policy, Obama did not act like this. He was less radical than any of these people. So people still voted Democrat. Now, if you're a Democrat like that couple, the McCloskeys or whatever, I believe they're Democrats. How could you vote Democrats when it's Democrats coming to take your guns? How, you know, people that I know that have voted Democrat are going to vote Republican because it's not like, oh, the unions and the Republicans are cool. It's like people are like, are they going to call it a hate crime if I like walk across the street or like, you know, I hope this wakes up a lot of moderate Democrats to be like the moderate Democratic Party of Obama, Clinton, Kennedy. And I'm not saying Clinton and Obama were great or anything, but I'm not talking about foreign policy or sneaky subversion. I'm talking about policy. Someone said Obama was kind of conservative. I'll just say this. For domestic policy, you listen to him talk about illegal immigration, he sounded like a more radical version of Trump. He was on the same stuff Trump was. He said, this can't happen, human trafficking's happened. Obama said a lot of that stuff. He didn't push it as hard, but like he wasn't just like open borders. He wouldn't have won. He wouldn't have won if he acted like that. That's not popular. He wasn't even, the LGBT stuff came after. He wasn't even doing that early on. So you get what I'm saying? This, I don't know how popular all this stuff is. Maybe among the youth, but among the older Democrats, this can't be a popular thing. So I hope a lot of registered Democrats look at the McCloskey situation. They're like, yo, this is not my party anymore. I'm going to read this real quick. Luis said, I'm a Democrat. I believe in the Second Amendment. I don't want people's guns taken, but just like everything, our system isn't perfect and needs some change. I hear you. Well, God bless you for being here and listening. We appreciate that. We appreciate Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians. I think technically I'm actually a registered Democrat. I might change to independent. I might change to Republican, but I'm technically a registered Democrat still. I registered to vote in like the 2016 primary, but you know, we'll see what happens. I got to get off the Democrat thing though, either independent or Republican. Let's read a few more. My phone's getting hot. I don't know what's wrong with my phone. It keeps like overheating. But if my Facebook disappears, it means my phone overheated. If not, I'm gonna probably close it down in 20 minutes. Focus on my next video, make it, and pump it out for tomorrow morning. Someone said Obama didn't exude toxic masculinity. Yeah, I don't know about all that. Someone said, what do you think of the Wayfair stuff? I already talked about it earlier on, so if you want to watch it, you could rewind. I don't want to refocus on it, but I talked about it like 30 minutes ago. So when this video is over, you can find that part of it. Or if this video disappears on Facebook, you can find it on my YouTube or BitChute channel. It's going to stay up on YouTube, going to stay up on BitChute. So bitchute.com/DreamRare, BITCHUTE/DreamRare. YouTube, just search Anomaly. So you can find it. I talked about it earlier. Lynn said it's hot because it's tapped. Yeah, but why would they have to tap my phone? I mean, I'm on 2 different live streams, but I don't know, maybe. I'm sure everyone's phone's getting tapped. It's okay, I'll deal with it. All right, I'm reading that, Linda. I see your comment on YouTube. I don't want to read it aloud because they'll say it's hate speech, but that's an interesting theory. I'll look into it. Someone said you're not tapped. I'm not worried about it. It's fine. Someone said, yo, become a member of the birthday party. I don't know. I'm sticking with Trump in 2020, but as far as Kanye in the future, if it's Kanye versus like Elizabeth Warren, no question, I'm voting Kanye West, but we'll see what happens. Someone said they're censoring you. I don't think so. To be honest, I mean, YouTube is sketchy. They delete videos and they demonetize everything. BitChute is fine. Facebook's been good to me. I can't lie. I can't play the victim. I don't feel the censorship. Sometimes I go live. I have 10,000 people live. That's not It's not a good job. So they're actually, Facebook's working with me as of now. Like, not with me, but I'm so big on Facebook. I have like, if you're on YouTube, a lot of people on YouTube don't even know this, but I have like 1.3 million, 1.4 million. I have to be one of the biggest pages. I'm not talking about just likes. I'm talking about like reach. My videos and my posts just absolutely crush it. So like I'm almost grandfathered in, and I'm careful about what I say, and it's all real. That's why I'm so careful. I have such a huge platform. I'm sure they're looking at me like, what's he saying? I'm just saying the facts. You know, what are you saying? So, you know, I'm Facebook's been fine to me as of now. They even want to like work. Like I get some lady or younger woman I talk to. I don't know her age, but she's fantastic. I can actually talk. Like YouTube deletes my video. They won't even tell me why. Facebook, I'll be like, what's going on? And they'll answer. They won't always do what I want them to do, but they're making an effort to not like ruin my life, which I appreciate. You know, I don't agree with everything Facebook does or stands for, but I respect them that they actually respect me. And YouTube does not respect me, but I do have a YouTube. It's on the wall. I have a YouTube. Should I take it off? I can do it. I'll show you guys real quick. I probably shouldn't. It's pretty easy. I'll put it back on. I actually have this from YouTube though. I have a plaque, even though they're kind of sneaky. 100,000 subscribers. It's kind of cool. And then Susan Wojcicki sent me a message and said, she said that, you know, congratulations. No one can take what you build away from you. And I was like, that's not true, because she censors so much. She literally takes away. She's like, no one can take what you've built. But I was like, every week you literally take what people build. Like they build a platform like Stefan Molyneux, and then you take it. They build a whole network, and then you take. So I'll take the plaque, but this is a relic. This is a relic of how I beat the Orwellian censors, how I conquered the tyrants, how I somehow made it through the fog and got to the promised land despite that. Here, I'll put it on my wall later. I'm kind of like OCD. Now it's kind of bugging me out, but I need to put my helmet on because of the schmutz. Yeah, I feel you. Thank you. This is the plaque has a camera and a microphone in it. That would be hilarious. I don't think so. They have like web browsers and stuff. They don't need to put a camera in that. They have everything. Someone said Facebook stock is up since Twitter wigged out. I'm not a stock guy. Do not take stock advice from me. But to me, I look at Facebook is at like in the 200s, Google's in like the thousands. I think Facebook is a good long-term stock. The reason so, Facebook also owns Instagram, which is powerful. Facebook owns Oculus Rift, which is a powerful, you know, VR platform. Facebook's a big platform. They seem, I don't know if they're going to mess up, but if you notice, Facebook is the #1 target of Google, Twitter, the ADL. Even though Zuckerberg is Jewish, you have the Anti-Defamation League, who's like a Jewish hate speech censor organization who stops hate speech, or they claim to. They're attacking Zuckerberg nonstop for allowing people to say things. The reason is Facebook is obviously censoring people. They're obviously doing stuff. But if you notice, YouTube, the whole algorithm's rigged. The whole site has been rigged, and they brag about it. Facebook did the opposite. They're still doing some stuff, but they had the news section to prioritize news, but they deleted it, and they gave a bunch of money to local news, who's better than national news slightly, but depending on, some local news does suck. They're not rigging enough. So if Facebook stays the route, I don't know if they're going to do it. If YouTube keeps rigging, Twitter keeps rigging, and Facebook decides to play even keel a little bit, then Facebook can really swallow up the Google market and become a more powerful stock. That's what I think. I'm not good at the stock market. I'm kind of not a financial person, but I'm trying to get better. But to me, I think Facebook has potential if they don't go the full route of censorship, because at this rate, like I don't watch YouTube anymore. I rarely use it. I watch BitChute almost every day now because BitChute is more free. And also all the people I like are getting deleted off YouTube, and they're not even doing anything. So I don't want to support them because they've deleted so many people. You know, someone said a lot of people have ditched their Facebooks. Yeah, I know Facebook is kind of terrible too, but they've been good to me, and they politically, they seem like I'm not saying they're great. Obviously, a lot of people have been treated terribly by Facebook, but like between YouTube and Twitter and all these other platforms, Facebook is the least rigged as far as users. And, I think that if they can capitalize off that, that would be fine, but we'll see. And they own Instagram. So a lot of people who deleted Facebook have Instagram. So that's my thought on it. And I'm not saying they're good. Obviously, they censor too. But I'm just saying, out of that crew, like if you compare what Google's doing and what Facebook's doing, there's a reason the media is always hating on Facebook, because they're not pushing far enough for them. It's like the progressives. It's like Jenny Durkin. She's ultra progressive. Like Facebook's too far left for you guys. Jenny Durkin's too far left for everyone here. But to the progressives, it's never far enough. They never stop. They just push further, further, further. So it's the same dynamic with Facebook as the mayors of like Seattle and Portland. They're not far enough for these people, and they never will be, because they don't have like an end game or an end point. But all right, I'll hang out for like 10 more minutes. And I'm gonna roll out. Let's see. Facebook fact checked me on an article posted. Yeah, they fact check a lot. They fact checked me one time too. That's why I'm extra careful though. I see the games they play. Sorry, I'm scrolling down. I see the games they play, and I just try to like I don't post things unless I'm 100% sure. But I would have to see what you posted. So I said, I think they're trying to appear as non-censoring. Well, no, what they're trying to do is not lose their entire market. It's probably more of a business move. Like YouTube, eventually they're going to delete so many people. Like it's not going to be a user platform anymore. It's going to be a platform for corporations, which is becoming. Facebook probably doesn't want to lose everybody. So they're censoring, but just not as much. Like if they censor Trump, or they go the full distance to censor Ben Shapiro and me and stuff, they're going to lose most of their audience. Who does better in the free market of Facebook when they're not censoring? I do better. Shapiro does better. Trump does better. Tucker Carlson does better. We do better. And they hate it. They post all the time on Twitter. The top 10 posts of the day, 9 of them are conservative. It's not because Facebook's rigging it. It's because they're leaving us alone. And when they leave us alone, we perform better. We have a broader audience and more people like us. So the liberals hate that. They're like, why is Breitbart doing so well? Because people read it more than Vox complaining about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, how free speech is bad, or like Huffington Post articles. I think it was Huffington Post with the Rudolph thing, but it's like, that's not really popular. The only reason it gets clicks is because like 80% of people are making fun of it. So, that's why they hate Facebook. It's not that they're not censoring, but no question, politically, they're doing less rigging. And when they don't, conservatives, Trump, myself, we outperform everyone else by a long shot. So they're like, the ADL is now pressuring Facebook to go further. So they're not just like not appearing. They're not appearing as a non-censor. They're just censoring less than Google, and it's not enough for the big wigs. They want them to go even further and like destroy Trump and everyone. They're like, delete Trump's Twitter, delete his. You get it. That's enough. All right. Well, let's see what we talk about here. Any good questions or comments? Do I know about the coin shortage? It's been a very popular question in my live streams. I looked it up yesterday because everybody's been asking about it. I don't know. I can't, like, with all the stuff going on in the world, I just can't really care about the coin shortage. Maybe there is a coin shortage, but does it really matter that much? I don't know. There's so much digital money, and I'm not even talking about cryptocurrency. When you use a credit card, it's all digital. When you have a bank account, most of it's digital until you get the physical form of it. To me, a coin shortage just is such a non-issue. But once again, I'm not a financial expert. Maybe that's like catastrophically bad. I just can't bring myself to caring about it. Like, coins are annoying to me anyway, because like, first of all, they're dirty. I'm not trying to act like I'm so uppity, like, oh, coins are annoying. But you know what I'm saying? Like, at this point, when coins were first invented, you could buy things like only with coins. You'd go buy ice cream with coins. You'd go buy like a hamburger with coins. You could like purchase whole things with just coins. Now it's just like you pay at a grocery store and the coins pop out, and maybe you have exact change. If you're one of those people who have exact change, but coins are just kind of annoying at this point. I pretty much tip in coins all the time, in the sense of like, anytime I get coins, I just give them that and $1 so I don't seem cheap. Just because it's like, I don't know, it's coin does not buy as much as it used to when coins first were invented. Maybe a coin shortage is bad though, but I don't know. I just went to a coin star. I collected coins for like 5 years. I had a giant thing of coins, and I went to a coin star and I poured it all in. And the accumulation of all the coins I saved over the last 5 years was like $50, which was fine. I ended up like tipping my Uber driver a lot of money, but like, I don't know. I was like all that saving for 5 years for $50. It's fine. I like $50, but you know, Daddy Trump just gave me $1,200. So it's like I saved coins for 5 years and I get $50. I just simply exist in the Trump era of the government shutdown, and Daddy Trump gives me $1,200 check in the mail. So, you know, I don't know. I'm over coins, but to each their own. Thank you, Iron Man Metal. I appreciate you, Bill, for the super chat. So I said, I had a cashier tell me they might stop accepting cash because of the shortage. Yeah, this shutdown is a nightmare. Like, it's just unfortunate that so many people don't think that much, but people just are like, there's like the people who run a lot of these big industries and stuff, they know exactly what they're doing. It's not like a random, you think they didn't plan this or have a plan for it. Like, oh, we're running out of change and cash. Like, I'm sure they have an idea of what's going on. I doubt they're very dumb. Maybe they are, but I think, you know, Amazon's doing fantastically. I don't think they care about cash very much. Facebook built their own cryptocurrency with Libra, and they're trying to launch that, or they were trying. I don't know what happened. You have crypto and, you know, Robinhood apps that you can buy it on. So I'm sure there's some sort of a plan there, but I don't know. Someone said investing in gold. Yeah, I'm not a big, like I said, stocks and gold. I'm trying to get better at, but I'm not really a good, everybody's saying get gold, get crypto. I don't know. That's not my lane. I'm going to stay in my lane. Renee, thank you so much. God bless you. I appreciate that. Thank you. They want a cashless society? Probably. I'm guessing that's the direction it's going. Someone said, I wonder if coins are start to go cashless. I think so. I mean, if you look, without the shutdown and all this stuff, we've been getting cashless anyway. Take out cryptocurrency before cryptocurrency exists. Look at the 50s and the 60s and look at now. We've already become cashless, more cashless than that. There weren't all these credit cards, debit cards, you know, chips and scans and PayPals. That never used to exist. So we've already been on the road of going cashless. To me, it's not like a big scandal. I don't know, though. Maybe a coin shortage is bad, but we've already been on the road to going cashless. I think it's inevitable at a certain point that they're going to try to make that switch. I don't know what that means. Is that good or is it bad? I would like to have something physical. It's nice to know that it exists, but I don't know. I can't tell you what the effects of that are. All right, I'm going to read this comment. I'm sure it's not true, but it made me laugh. Michael said, the Anunnaki just called me. They said we better smarten up, and then they laughed and hung up. All right, well, Michael's talking to the Anunnaki. You'll have to talk to him. Thank you, Pat from Hawaii. God bless you. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. Someone said the Bible said we would become cashless. It's right for the season, bro. Back to Revelations. A lot of stuff are becoming eerily similar for sure. You got to listen to that Kanye West interview or look it up. He was he said he was talking about the mark of the beast and like what he thought that was. I won't even repeat it. I don't know if it'll get me censored, but you can watch the whole interview. It's pretty. He's a wild boy. Kanye's he's onto something. Staleezy said Deltron or MF Doom. That's a good question. There are two rappers, if you guys don't know. I would say, me personally, I've listened to more Deltron than MF Doom. I know MF Doom's a legend, but I don't really listen to him that much. Deltron, the funky Homo sapien, I've listened to his solo stuff more. And didn't he rap with like the Gorillas as well? So yeah, I've listened to Deltron a lot more. So I'm gonna have to say him. For sure. But good question. Very, very rare question. I appreciate the non-political ones. Ju- Justin said you're not looking any more swole, slacking. It is what it is. It depends on angles too. I'm not gonna get here and flex, but like, I had a live stream last night on Instagram with a sleeveless shirt. You get more angles, but there's a lot of work to be done. But I don't know. I haven't really been slacking. It's been doing different things at different times. But certain shirts I wear, they cover up more. So it is what it is. But I'm not like I said, I got 30, 40 more pounds of pure muscle. Like I'm trying to just look disgusting. Like I walk in and you almost like you're like that's not healthy to even be that big. Now I don't know if I'm really getting that big, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Yeah, the gorillas and hieroglyphics. Exactly. Yeah, I like that. Cage or Eminem? I don't know that much of Cage, but Eminem's just kind of annoying. I obviously loved Eminem growing up, but he's like a Karen now. He's like, F Drew Brees, wear your mask everywhere. What's your deal? It's like he's a talented rapper, but Eminem he just seems like such an agent now. I don't know if he's doing that on his own will or it's just like how he feels. But he's like, wear your mask, wear your mask. That's not what he says, but like his message is just terrible. It's all like propaganda, but it sounds good because he's a good rapper. I'm over it. Do you think he hurts Trump or Biden by running Kanye? I don't know if he's really going to run, but I don't know. It's I don't know. Probably Biden, maybe a little more, but I don't. It's hard for me to tell like what his audience is. It's like a totally different audience, so I'm not sure who it hurts more or less. But I would think most people who are voting for Trump are pretty loyal. Trump has a pretty loyal base, but I don't know. I can't tell you. All right, I'll answer like two more questions, and I'll head out at like 1 o'clock. So I'll say, hey, we really like Tom McDonald. He has a great message. Yeah, Tom's doing phenomenal. He's got great songs, great videos. He's having a great couple of years. There's going to be a big prayer gathering in September. All right, I might do it from home. I don't feel like going to Washington D.C. I'm kind of over the cities until like 2024. What do I think about Israel and annexing Jewish settlements? Said Shalom. Um, I would have to look more into it. I don't really follow too closely what's going on there. It's not my thing particularly, but I know if I say that, people will be like, "How dare you?" It's a heated topic on both sides. But I'm not too familiar with what they said they're doing or what they're actually doing. I would have to look into it more, Shalom. So at this point, I don't really have a stance on it. I would have to dive deeper on it. What do I think about the Redskins business? It's just, I mean, if that's how they feel, I don't care. But I'm done with the NFL. They're just on every level. They're just annoying me. So I don't. I'm not going to watch the NFL. I mean, maybe I'll check out the Super Bowl, but I don't know. I'm over the whole thing. So to me, the virtue signaling is so annoying, and you know, it's just dumb. But maybe that's going to make a lot of people feel really good, and hopefully they have a good week and enjoy themselves. But I'm a Giants fan, so Redskins have always been trash to me. Thoughts on Tim Pool? People always ask that. I like Tim. I think he's a nice guy. I think he's coming into full form. I think he's having a good year. He seems a little less. I used to joke, but he used to like always be freaking out about everything. Oh, what are they like? Every day he's bugging out. But I feel like he seems like he's come to terms with how crazy they are, and he seems a little more calm and like grounded. So I think Tim's having a phenomenal year. He's always been a nice guy, and he always does great work. But I feel like he's becoming more calm, And I like that. I don't like sporadic energy, but I think he's always done good work. But he seems a little stronger now. He's just like he's come to terms with how psychotic the left is, and he's saying he's like libertarian instead of progressive. So it's good. You love to see it. You love to see a good libertarian, Tim. I got told on my base I can't listen to you, Fox, or others. The Hatch Act. Yeah, I don't know the Army rules, but thank you for listening anyway. I appreciate you. What do I think of the Hatch Act? I got to look at it. Hatch Act. Let's see. Hatch Act of 1939, an act to prevent pernicious political activities, is a United States federal law whose main provision prohibits employees in the executive branch of the federal government, except the president, vice president, and certain distinguished high levels, from engaging in some form of political activity. I mean, I understand not being involved in the political activity, but I don't. Why you can't watch news networks? I don't know. That seems a little odd to me, but I understand why they wouldn't want you to like be full-fledged in politics. But yeah, I don't know about all that. I'd have to look into it more. Do I think another shutdown will hurt Trump? I mean, this one I think didn't help him, but I don't know. At this point, like either you get it or you don't. Like I don't, like even with the Fauci stuff and the Trump and the shutdown and the riots and the police and the statues, like at this point, I don't know. How do you not get it? Like, it's not 2016. It's not 2015. It's not your grandma's Democratic Party. I don't know how you couldn't get what's going on. So would another at this point, how do you not get it? Like, I would think it wouldn't really make a difference at this point, but the first one made a difference. I have a bad gauge on that though, because in order to be accurate in polls or predictions, you can't just, and this is the tough part about anything, is you can't just think like yourself. Not everyone thinks like you. You have to get outside your mind and fully understand how everybody in every community and demographic and politics feel. I don't know. Like, I think people feel a certain way, and then I see Joe Biden at a black church, and they're like, praise Joe Biden, praise Joe. And like everyone's praising him, and they're like loving it. And I'm like, this to me, I mean, I'm familiar with black churches, but I'm talking about like a black church that's like obsessed with Joe Biden. That's something that's not even in my reality until I watched on Twitter. But like, that's surreal. So just because, I'm friends with black conservatives, that does not mean that that's how everybody feels in South Carolina, North Carolina. So, in order to fully understand how everyone's affected by everything, it's a very complicated process that's almost impossible to do. But yeah, it's like with the Kanye question, does it hurt Trump or Biden more? I don't know. I would like to think that Trump has awoken a lot more people, and King Face, Candace Owens, Angela Stanton King, people like that have awakened a lot of people to think differently. And I know they have. I have friends that are, black, gay, these groups that they say should hate Trump. And I've seen a shift in them where they're like, wow, like I got a friend, just to be honest, but he's black and gay. And he actually figured out that Trump's not that bad. And he really likes Candace and King Face. And, he's become more conservative in his political ideology, but in his profession, it's not really popular to do so. So I've seen a shift in my own personal friends. However, that doesn't accumulate for everybody. So how does everyone feel? How does every group, how have they shifted? I'd like to think a lot of people have kind of awoken, but maybe not. I don't know. How many new young kids are going to vote? How many millions of 19-year-olds are going to vote? I don't know. I can't tell you. I can only guess like everyone else. But Reiko said, I'm sick and tired of Minnesota. I might move out of here. I'm sure everywhere's got its pros and cons, but I will say one thing. Before I leave, because I got to take off and work on some more videos. That's my life. But I'll probably have fun today too. I try to. But I'll say this. If you want to move. I'm not your life coach or anything, but like one thing that really stuck out to me this last year in October or like 2019, I posted on my Instagram, I said, I have to get out of California. I believe they're going to mandate vaccines. This is before the shutdown. I saw, and this is not a theory, they were passing bills in New York and California to mandate vaccines for the kids. And I already saw that how they were going. They're going to do it to the kids. They're going to do it to schools. And then they're going to really push it out. So I already knew last year that they were going to do what they're doing or what they're probably going to do. So I said, I have to get out of California. I have to get out of here. They're going to do it here. And then the shutdown happened. And then I realized that every single state was playing along. In the liberal areas of Florida, they're playing along. Texas, Governor Abbott's playing along. Even Utah's shutting down. Idaho is not doing as much, but they're even shutting down. Certain parts of California are shutting. So I realized, I'm like, it really is nationwide. So it's like you can move to, I had a friend move from California to Texas, and then Governor Abbott did a mask mandate. So they moved for freedom, and they realized they might have more than they had. But, there's problems everywhere in the country. So it's like you might be able to find another community in Minnesota that you like. You might be able to find another state that you like. But I'm starting to realize that these problems are really becoming nationwide. And, I personally was like, all right, I got to find an area I like better and a community I like better. But I started looking around other states and other places. And, I started like when the shutdown hit, it just blew my mind that like every neighborhood that I thought wouldn't be affected became affected. They really like bamboozled the whole country. So the grass is always greener. You might find a place better than Minnesota, or you might go somewhere and realize it's not as, everywhere's got its pros and cons. That's just my final thought. But overall, God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Thank you for joining on YouTube. Thank you for joining on Facebook. I'll do more of these double live streams because a lot of people on YouTube don't have Facebook. A lot of people on Facebook don't have YouTube, vice versa. And now that I'm settled in, I could do the double stream, and it's pretty easy to do. You see I got my picture up there and that up there. If you're on YouTube, you can see the picture straight, and that's I'm still building. I'm like not even done. On Facebook, it looks like it's not straight, but I'm at an angle because everyone used to complain even at my last place, like it's not straight. I might have to like slowly move it one way or the other, but overall, it's usually the angle of my phone. But I'll be building, creating more, doing stuff, maybe even streaming different. But check out tomorrow. I'm going to do a whole video on a lot of the data around coronavirus and do another in-depth, detailed dive into what's really going on and the real stats from the CDC, from the government website. And if you don't already know, I have a whole list of coronavirus videos where I get pretty much every angle of what they're saying, what they're doing. And the reason I think my videos have not been censored more than they have is because it's all factual. It's all directly at the website, the government website, what they're saying, what they're doing. I'm not making wild accusations. I'm not saying things I can't prove. I'm sticking to the facts. And that's the game. There's so much out there. I don't need to make stuff up. I don't need to speculate. I see what they're doing. And if you stick even to the facts, it's not quite adding up. So that's what we're going to keep doing. And if you want to watch some of my other videos, just scroll on. I would prefer Facebook because they actually pay ad revenue. YouTube screws me over. So watch on Facebook. If you have YouTube, you can watch on YouTube or watch on BitChute. I prefer Facebook because they actually, like I said, monetize. YouTube screws me over, but I don't really care. Wherever you can watch it or share it or share it with a friend. Check out all my coronavirus videos, and I think I did a pretty good job. And I'm going to keep doing a good job. And have a beautiful day. I'll be back soon, and I appreciate you for being here. And blast off. After the blast off. Have a good one, folks.